welcome to another amazing episode of Storytime at the Rubus. I'm your host, Sharla.
And I'm Daniel.
And I'm Adah.
Hey, Adah, how are you doing?
Good.
What have you been up to?
Drinking with you.
Yeah, so Adah has crashed with us. She had a weekend free and wanted to come down to Huntsville. How did you like all of the places we took you last night?
It was fun. I really like Voodoo. I know we've been there before, but that was the first time we actually spent time there.
Yeah.
And then Miller's was crowded, but
Miller's is not for me. Yeah, for anybody that comes down and visits with us, Voodoo is one of our favorite places. It's totally a dive bar. It's the size of 2 hallways, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit
That
more.
sounds right.
I love them because they have great taste in the music that they book, and it's the bar in Huntsville that's full of the weirdos like us.
Yes, Voodoo Lounge. Look it up.
We also went to Straight to Ale to see Brooklyn.
Yes. Brooklyn is here, but she may not be very vocal. She's kind of out of it. How are you feeling over there, Brooklyn?
Tired.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand. So you might hear her a little bit on this episode. But yes, if you are in Huntsville, go see your girl Brooke over at Straight to L at Campus 805. I highly endorse their tacos. What was that new one I had last night? That was pretty good.
The beef barbacoa.
Beef barbacoa?
Yes.
What is a barbacoa?
Have you ever been to Chipotle?
Yes, many times.
They have barbacoa there.
Okay, well that's your version of it.
It's like pulled beef.
I enjoyed it, and
It's not pulled pork, it's pulled beef.
And I had some kind of peach sour ale. What was that?
That was the white peach cider.
White peach cider. That was
Wasn't it?
very good. Yeah, well, whatever it was great. She picked it for me. Adah, I'm so happy you're here. So, I think we have talked about you a couple of times on the podcast, and most of our friends know you because you're always at Bonnaroo and stuff like that. But can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to in the Nashville area?
Yeah, so I am the events coordinator for the Well Coffee House, so I run a lot of little shows at 2 of our stores, and a lot of Belmont bands and Lipscomb student bands will play their first shows at the Well, and it's a lot of fun. We actually had a show 2 weeks ago that had 105 people crammed in this tiny room.
Was that the most you've had while you've been working there?
Yeah.
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 You told me that the Jonas Brothers' dad was in
Yes,
there.
he was there on Friday night. So, he I guess owns this management group.
Yeah.
And 2 of the bands that played that night are with his management.
That's super
group.
cool.
So
Doing big things, but that's not your only gig in Nashville. You also work at another place that a lot of people know.
Yeah, I also work in the gift shop at the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't do a whole lot there. I'm not there very often, but I can say I'm an employee of the Ryman.
That's pretty cool. You get kind of a backstage look over there sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We get we get to know the information of what's happening. I just found out some of the shows that are happening in the fall that haven't been announced yet.
Ooh, can you spill anything, or is that secret?
That's secret.
Oh,
I'm not even supposed to know, but
well, if information comes your way, you can't unhear
right,
it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then during the day when shows are loading in, I can sometimes get to see the artists sound checking.
That's pretty
stuff
cool.
Like that,
So I love it that you get a backstage. You have snuck me a couple of Snapchats before of sound check. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
But I love the Ryman. It is world famous for good reason. It probably has maybe the best sound of any venue like that in the business. They pride themselves on that, right?
Yeah. It was kind of a happy accident, actually, from what I've heard recently. Yeah, they so the Ryman originally was a church, and there wasn't a stage in there. It was kind of all the seats were in the round, and then they put in a small stage and took half the seats and made a balcony. And so
the balcony wasn't always there?
Nope.
I didn't know that.
So they took half the seats and made a balcony, and with it all being wood, it was just kind of a happy accident that the balcony made it sound so good.
So is that one reason that they keep the seating as kind of like old church pews?
Yeah, that's the original pews too.
So does that help with the sound?
It does.
That's cool.
Everything bounces off the wood pews, and so the wooden floor and all the pews are all original. So,
huh.
Yeah.
So it was just an accident that it
Yeah.
sounds so great. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So that's funny. You and I were talking last night about how neither of us really enjoy going to a show at the Bridgestone.
Yep.
Because it's a big black cavernous box, and the sound is okay, but it's not nearly as good as something like the Ryman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like going to big arena shows at all
Yeah, I
anymore.
don't like big arena shows either. I'm I'm definitely gonna go to a few, but like it has to be someone I really want to see.
Yeah.
Like I've got to take it to the Cure at like the Excel Energy Center or whatever. So it's gonna be a big arena kind of thing.
Now, wait, tell that story real quick.
Okay, so
You told me last night.
So the Cure said they were going on tour, but you had to fill out this form to be put into a lottery to see if you could potentially get a code to get tickets.
Yeah.
Well, me and my boyfriend and my friend Dan, we all got waitlisted.
Yeah, shout out to Dan. I know he listens.
Dan. And we all got waitlisted. And so then it was like Friday morning. No, not Friday. Yeah. Friday morning.
This past Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At like 8 a.m., The Cure posted on Instagram saying that they were releasing a limited amount of tickets for each show. And they were going on sale at like 10 a.m. local time. And so I'm driving to work on the phone with my boyfriend. And we're like trying to figure out where we can go and when to get tickets. And it's like 9 a.m. and I'm like, oh crap, Atlanta's an hour ahead. So get on there.
No.
And so he gets on to try and get Atlanta tickets, and we didn't get them. And then at 10, he got on to try and get tickets for Chicago. And like there were tickets available when he first opened it up, but then he was looking at like what all the different prices were. He's not a very seasoned ticket buyer. So
We've done this rodeo a few times. Yeah.
But he was like looking at another ticket to like see what the price was, and he went back to the first one and it was gone.
Oh.
And so all the tickets left were like over $200, and we didn't want to do that.
So now you're going to
and so
Minnesota.
Now we're going to St. Paul, Minnesota. And we have not good seats, but I'll at least get to see The Cure. So,
well,
yeah.
Taylor Swift broke it so Robert Smith could fix it.
Yes.
Did you get your $5 back? Did you see about that?
No, I think that was from like if you got the access code. I think they might have fixed it for that general sale
good.
we did. But yeah, but like tickets were only
$20.
I think Shane said after taxes and fees and everything, he paid $80 for 2 tickets.
Well, that was the interesting thing that happened this past week. Like, The Cure wanted tickets to be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But by the time that Ticketmaster fees went through, tickets cost twice as much as they should have. The fees and stuff cost more than the actual tickets. It was like one of the few big viewable times that had happened.
Yeah.
So that's why you got your $5 back.
Yeah, Robert Smith posted a screenshot or something, and the tickets were $20 each, but the total was $170 or something like that.
That's just embarrassing. All the homies hate Ticketmaster, right, Charlotte?
Yes. Yep. That's what Zach Bryan said.
Yeah, tell me about that real quick.
So Zach Bryan actually named one of his albums, his live album was All My Homies Hate Ticketmaster, and he did a similar thing. He did a lottery for his tickets so that would be more affordable, and you actually had to sign up for the lottery. And a lot of people were disappointed in the way he did his ticket sales, but it did make it more affordable for so many people so that they didn't have to go through, the Ticketmaster process. I didn't really follow the whole thing because I didn't try to get tickets, but I just know a lot of people were able to afford tickets by the way that he did it. Yeah.
I'm glad so many artists are starting to stand up for their fans in that way now too. I mean, you still have to fight the monster that is Ticketmaster a little bit, but at least things are getting a little better. Any progress is good progress, I suppose. But when is that Cure concert?
June 8th.
Oh, you're going to have a fun couple of
2
weeks.
days before Bonnaroo.
Okay. So. All right. So we got to go into that. Tell us your Bonnaroo origin story. How many have you been to?
I've been to 2.
Yeah.
So do you want like the full story of my first Bonnaroo?
Well, in theory, this is a storytelling podcast,
okay.
So yes.
Okay, cool. So 2019 was my first Bonnaroo. And I had thought about going for several years, talked about going, said I was going, never did. And then I went on a date with this guy. I don't even know if you guys know this story.
I don't think I do.
I went on a couple dates with this one guy, and he goes to Bonnaroo every year. And so he convinced me. He was like, yeah, you should totally go. You can be a part of my group. You can hang out with us, camp with us. And I was like, okay. I've only gone on 3 dates with this guy or whatever. But I thought if he was cool. So I was like, okay, I'll buy a ticket. So on Black Friday that year, bought a ticket, 2018. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going with this guy. Well, then he ghosted me. So then I have this Bonnaroo ticket, and I've never been, and I don't know anything about it.
You soloed it.
So I did. I convinced a friend to buy a ticket like a few weeks before, but she couldn't get there until late Friday night. So I went in early Thursday morning. So I was there by myself Thursday morning until Friday night for my first Bonnaroo.
So what did you do on your own for those first 2 days?
I mostly just wandered. I knew there was someone I know that I had gone on a date with him also, so I could like kind of knew him. But he was one of the vendors in Bonnaroo. And so like I could like go pop in there if I felt awkward or like didn't know where to go. And so I did that a couple times, but I mostly just wandered. I stumbled into the House of Yes Dirty Circus show.
I think it was that. I think we were both there.
Probably.
Was it this burlesque thing that was going on that night? It was a David Bowie themed burlesque show. Maybe. Well, I remember. They had a good deal that weekend.
Yeah.
We might have. Anyway.
Yeah. So I went into like this Dirty Circus show. I do remember there was a guy. So at one point they were like, okay, we're going to make this like a talent show. Anyone have a talent they want to show? And so everyone's like raising their hands saying they want to come up on the stage and do this talent. They pull this old guy from the crowd who's like awkward and like waddling, kind of like Russ waddles a little bit. I love Russell, but
Taco waddles?
A little bit. I love him. Anyway, but it was like this old guy. They bring him up on stage and he pulls out a yo-yo and starts yo-yoing, and then he starts the strip tease while yo-yoing. Turns out this guy's like part of the show, obviously.
It was a plan, yeah.
But then he's like down to like these, I think it was like gold underwear, and he turns around to face the back. It might not have been gold, I don't know. In my mind, it's gold. He turns around to face the back and like is like doing this whole strip tease thing, and he turns around to the front, and he had tied the yo-yo around his dick and was like gonna try and yo-yo with it.
Did it work?
But then his dick fell out of his underwear. So everyone saw it, and then he went off stage. And that was Thursday night at Bonnaroo.
That was your introduction to Bonnaroo.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a normal Thursday at Bonnaroo, all right.
So yeah, that was my first night at Bonnaroo.
And that was when you fell in love.
Yes. That was also the night that it was really cold. It got down to like 46 degrees that night.
Yes.
And I went to bed early because I was like, one, I'm by myself. I don't really know what to do. And I'm freezing. So I'm just going to go bundle up and fall asleep.
That same night, I remember we walked down Shakedown Street, and everybody was buying those drug rug hoodies.
Yes.
Because nobody expected it to be that cold. Brooklyn bought a Star Wars flannel from some vendor that night that she still... Brooklyn, you get like so many compliments on that flannel shirt that you wear, that you bought at one of the Shakedown Street places, right?
Yeah, I wear it to work a lot.
Yeah. What were you saying, Adah?
I bought one of those like Mexican blankets,
Mm-hmm.
during Post Malone's sex. I got cold that year too.
That makes so much sense to buy that during Post Malone's set.
I was also out in pod like 11.
Yeah.
Like way far out there. I was like at the back, as far as you can get. My friend and I, Nikki, we timed how long it took us to get from our campsite to Bonnaroo. It was about a 25-minute walk.
Oh gosh.
It was a long walk.
When it's a crowded Roo, when it's almost sold out or is sold out, there's always an unfortunate few that are way too far out there, like a half hour or more.
Yeah.
In theory, that's what Jam Tracks should be solving. I think they're going to have it greatly improved this year. So hopefully nobody's going to have to go that far, because it's going to be pretty darn close to a sellout if it's not one already.
They didn't even have like those far out pods last year.
No, it was only half sold out. All right. Second Bonnaroo question.
Okay.
What's been some of your favorite sets you've ever seen?
I fell in love with AJR at
Bonnaroo
2019. I knew like who they were, but that was one of the only shows I stayed at for the full set. And like fell in love with them. And now I've seen them a couple times with Ryan and Jordan. So
I know. Yes, you guys saw them at the Ascend a year or so ago. Yeah.
We also saw them at Music Midtown. No. Yes, Music Midtown
in Atlanta, right?
In 2021.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, AJR Flip Turn was a good show for sure.
You would have loved their set that we saw down at Okie. They destroyed it. Oh my gosh, we thought about you. Yeah. You're more of like into more in like indie rock bands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like a whole lot of full sets at Bonnaroo. Honestly, I do a lot of bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Bleacher's set was really good though.
Ooh.
and Churches.
Churches is
last
fun.
year. I love Churches, have loved Churches since I was like 12 years old, and I had never seen them until Shaky Knees with Russ last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now I've seen them like 6 times in the last year. So they're very good.
So I think people that listen to both podcasts are going to see the crossover here because he
Yep.
talked about going to Shaky Knees, and you went to Shaky Knees
Yep.
with him. Yeah,
Yep.
that was last year.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you ride in the bus?
No, we drove
His bus.
separately there because I went like later in the day or
Yeah.
the next day or something like that. But
Wait, were you with him this night that he talked about where he walked like 2 or 3 miles to go to some crazy bar that somebody
I
mentioned?
was not with him
You weren't
on
there?
that. But when we were in Atlanta, we had gone somewhere. Yeah, we took an Uber somewhere for breakfast, and I was like, "Oh, like the festival seems like it's walking distance. Like we can make it." And he was like, "Okay, but we did this whole thing one time with someone else, and they made me walk for like
That's
2
what
hours."
he was talking about.
And he was complaining about it the whole time. We had to go up this big hill too, and he was like, "Adah, I don't know where you're taking me, and I don't like it." He was like starting to get angry about it, I think. But we made it.
Well,
It was good.
he said the funniest thing. He said, yeah, after he did walk that far, he really did get shaky knees. But oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, we didn't do a whole lot of like partying or anything when we went to Shaky. It was kind of just we went to breakfast, we went to the festival, we went back to the house.
I like Shaky. I would like to go back. Some of our friends have been trying to talk me into going because Pond and some other bands that I like are going to be
Yeah.
there this year. I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. I got so much I'm going to already.
Yeah.
We shall see. Andrew, I know you're trying to get me to go. He says there's a Braves game I could go to too. We'll see. I don't know. I got a lot
Yeah.
going on.
It's a good festival, but I don't like standing in a parking lot. I have learned that.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a really good city festival for it to tempt me to come because I'm spoiled on going to camping festivals like Bonnaroo or Oki.
Yeah.
So like one that you have to get a hotel or whatever for is just it makes me lose interest.
Yeah.
I would like to go back to hang out at some point, but it gets so darn expensive when you have to get like a condo around the beach.
Right.
Atlanta isn't so bad. The one year that we just went for one day, and I was able to find like a Holiday Inn Express or something like that for like $100 a night.
Yeah.
About a mile walk away. That was okay. But if you're going to go to all 3 days, unless you know somebody in town that you can crash with, it adds up really
It really
quick.
Yeah, you got to get a hotel for like 4 or 5 nights.
Yeah, and they tend to jack up the rates when they know that there's a
Right.
big event coming. So that's kind of the problem for me with like all these city fest if you don't live in town.
Right.
If you live in Atlanta for Shaky Knees, then sure, you're set. If you're like Mitchell, I think he lives just like 20 minutes away,
Yeah.
so he could do that. But when it's like a 4-hour drive for us, I'm like, I can do one day, but the whole
Right.
weekend is a bit of a trek. Anyways, we can talk about that another day. Okay, so we talked about the gigs that you have in Nashville and kind of your experience at Bonnaroo. I wanted to ask you some more about some Nashville stuff here in just a little bit. But before we get to that, do y'all want to talk about some of the stuff that came out this week about the plazas and
Sure.
and the late night thing? Sharla and I did a live episode where we talked about this, but I figured we should do it for the recorded episode too. Sharla, can you tell us about this After Hours lineup and tell us who's going to be playing each night?
Oh, I'm so excited for the After Hours lineup. So
Yes.
the After Hours, in case anyone doesn't know, means just the
Late night.
after midnight. Starts midnight or later. So on Thursday, they've got Sed's Dead, Liquid Stranger, Sed's Dead, Liquid Stranger, Big Frida, Dead, Neighbor, Diarrhea Planet,
Nashville's own Diarrhea Planet.
Zero, how do you say that?
070 Shake.
070 Shake.
And I only know that one because they did a collab with Tame Impala at some point.
Okay, I did not know how to pronounce it. I apologize.
Maybe it's different. I don't know.
Okay. And then on Friday, they've got
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, Subtronic, Sylvan Esso, The Midnight, Destroy Lonely, Diesel, Witch's Shack, Boogie T, Dirt Monkey, and B2B
Subdocta.
Subdocta.
I'm very excited about the Diesel show. I think there is going to be a huge showing for Shaq. Everybody has been trying to get
absolutely.
him to Bonnaroo for years, so I think they're probably going to put him on the other, probably like 1, 2 a.m. or something like that.
And then on Saturday, they've got My Morning Jacket, Corn, Lewis the Child, Jid, and STS9.
Saturday's when we're going to go hard, right?
Okay, so Saturday is going to be the day that I'm going to lay in a field.
What do you mean?
That's going to be my, go hard day.
Yeah, we're going to have to rest up. I think Diesel / Shaq is going to be the only one that I really do. Probably Sylvan Esso the night before, but I'm going to be saving my energy because Saturday is going to be an all-nighter that we're going to remember for a very long
That
time.
sunrise set.
Well,
That Soundtribe Sunrise set.
my morning jacket is probably going to start like right after the headliner and go probably as long as they damn well please. But you'll probably walk by Korn and Brooklyn. We got to go see Atlanta's own JID if we can get away with it. And then STS9 until the sun comes up. Yeah, there is going to be no sleeping Saturday night. That is about to be wild. What about Thursday? Anything? Adah, who do you want to see on these after hour sets?
So I've actually only been to like one late night set. So
Oh.
I'm usually an early bed person.
Same.
Not this year.
Same.
I stayed up to go to Mind Chatter last year.
We missed that. Me and Brooklyn wanted to go to that so bad.
I didn't stay for the full thing, but we stayed for part of it. But then I got to see Mind Chatter at another festival during the daytime, which was kind of weird, but it was good. But I might stay up for Diarrhea Planet.
You got to go see Sylvanesso.
Yes.
If you love churches, you're going to love
Yeah,
Sylvanesso.
I've loved Sylvanesso. I discovered Sylvanesso around the same time I discovered churches, but I've never seen them. I like Wolfpack. Obviously, I'm gonna try to stay up for Diesel, but we'll see. And then STS9, I might like
Can you
go
go all
to
night?
sleep and wake up
Yeah.
for that one.
I think what they're probably going to do is have STS9 start at like 3 or 4 and just be like, all right, just turn off the lights when you're done.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the case for my morning jacket as well.
Yeah.
Are you, okay, will you go to my morning jacket?
I might. I've seen them a couple times before.
Yeah, but it's very special.
Yeah.
They have probably in the top 3 of most legendary sets that's ever been played at Rudy.
Yeah. I might try, but it's not like 100% I have to be there.
Oh, I have to be there.
Okay.
I'm going to be there.
I'll probably at least go for a little bit.
I got to stop by Korn at some point,
Corn's
too.
just going to be wild.
Well, I love how off the wall and out of left field it is. That's where the weirdos are going to be that night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I say that in a loving way. I hope it's going to be a Woodstock 99 throwback kind of set.
Yeah.
It starts with that same like bass line. I don't remember the name of the song, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yes.
It's in that Woodstock documentary.
Yes.
Honestly,
And
though,
Pondo
they
was there.
should.
Yeah, I
They
hope
should.
so. I need to rage in that pit with Pondo. I can't say what it's for, but Pondo called me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I was awake but hadn't gotten out in the bed. He's like, hey man, I got this thing for the Wednesday show if you're interested. And he was so excited. I love his enthusiasm. But yes, more to come on that. All right, do y'all want to talk about the campground plazas? They announced that as well. I know a lot of people are waiting to hear the lineup for Where in the Woods and the bands and stuff that are going to be playing in the campgrounds. I know that's probably no more than 3 weeks away. Don't hold me to that, but somewhere in that range. So, Sharla, there were a couple of things that are different, but let's point out the things that are the same. We were a little worried because of the stupid stuff that's happening in Tennessee. We'll talk in a moment about that, about House of Yes, but they're at Plaza 3, right in the middle of the campgrounds. They're back. I think it's going to be business as usual for all of the insanity over there, right?
Yeah, it looks like they're back, and they have a boot logo on there.
A boot?
So.
Boot, scoot, and boogie. So a lot of these are the same. They list this. If you haven't read, there's more information on the Bonnaroo Campground Plazas page. So just Google search for that, and you'll see this list. So it starts with Where in the Woods. It looks like that's going to be the same thing. It highlights the giant disco ball. Now, they have moved. Maybe they heard our funny complaints. They have moved Galactic Giddy Up to Plaza 1. It's no longer at the Group Plaza.
So we no longer have to worry about where did he come from or where did he go.
Where did he go? Brooklyn, where did he go?
He went to hell.
Oh, my God. Brooklyn, oh, my gosh. At Plaza 2, there is a music den. I think they are going to have like kind of more intimate acoustic performances over there. Plaza 3 is House of Yes. We talked about that. Now, here's a new one. Over at the group area, they have a new name for this. Can you tell us about it?
Space Cadet Camp.
So not Space Camp.
No,
Space
Space Cadet.
Space Camp is another thing.
Yeah.
Space Camp is a Grizz festival.
Space
But-
Cadet Camp.
Yeah, Space Camp is the camp in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
I went to space camp.
You did?
Ooh.
Yeah, in 5th grade.
I did not know that.
No, maybe it was 6th grade.
Charlie used to work at Space
Yeah.
Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just ride down the road. You should send V to
Yes.
to Space Camp. I think you would enjoy
Yep.
that. But okay, are y'all ready for this? Not only does Plaza 5 have a new theme with the Space Cadet Camp, there is going to be a Cracker Barrel there. My mind is blown. So here's what it says. It says, stop by the Group Plaza for brunching at the Barrel with games, tunes, and homestyle brunch from Cracker Barrel. Y'all, my mind is blown. We get Cracker Barrel in the morning every day.
It actually lists that
Yeah.
out on there. I thought this whole time that was just a rumor that
Yeah,
you
I
were
thought so
saying.
too.
No, they are actually there. You thought I made that up?
No, I didn't think you made it
No,
up.
that's real.
I thought it was just a rumor that you were just saying.
Well, I didn't know about this. That's why I'm telling people to go look at this page, because there's stuff that they didn't put on social.
Cracker Bargle.
Cracker Burgle.
We're getting
But,
the Cracker
okay.
Bargle.
So last year, I want to say somewhere around 10 or 11, there was a Dunkin' Donuts van that would roll up and give everybody donut bites and coffee. So I think it's going to be the same thing with Cracker Barrel this year. And, you know, that's one of our traditions is to roll the bus up Monday morning at Cracker Barrel. Now they're going to be rolling up to the bus every day.
Yep.
Okay, so somebody was like, what kind of plaza would make Sharla happy?
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so a few people were like, well, why didn't they get a Waffle House? They should have got a Waffle House.
We're working on that.
Okay, no, let me finish. Because Waffle House is Georgia.
Oh.
Cracker Barrel is Tennessee.
Cracker Barrel started in Franklin, Tennessee, right?
Yep.
I want to say.
Brooklyn would know. She used to work there.
Brooklyn. How many stars did you have on your apron, Brooklyn?
One, and they took it away.
They're so
Okay,
rude.
you want to know why?
Yeah, I
Why?
do.
Well, it was this family, and it was the Sunday crowd, morning crowd, you know. And this one lady ordered the turkey sausage. Okay, well, it is protocol. We have to tell them that if they order the turkey sausage, it's always going to be pink in the middle, no matter how long you cook it.
Yeah.
Because it's turkey.
It's turkey.
So the food comes out, and she is pissed. She's like, my turkey sausage is pink inside. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
Just like I told you.
Yeah. And I'm like, would you like me to grab a manager? She's like, yeah, because you got an attitude, you little bitch.
What?
And I was like, okay. Huh. So I'm young, and I melt down. And I go and grab my manager, and I'm just like hiding in the bathroom crying. And they assigned a new server to them, and they took my star away.
That's
Aw.
some BS.
Well, I think
Because
you
of
deserve
a
5 stars.
customer complaint.
You get 5 stars from me. You
Cracker
should,
Barrel is the worst place to work.
but it's a good place to eat, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still eat there.
I mean, they're going to give us free food. So, but we're going to be very nice to the people that are working the Cracker Barrel inside Plaza 5.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
gonna,
yes.
I'm gonna. Hey, you know what we should do?
What?
Come up with a little thing where we're going to give them 5 stars for giving us
Ooh,
breakfast.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
cute.
let's
That's
come
a
up
good
with
idea.
something that we can do for them to make them feel special.
It only goes up to 4, but yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we're going to give them 1
Yeah.
extra. Brooklyn, you get 5 stars at Straight to L. I always have nothing but a great experience. She hooked me up last night. She picked a drink for me. All right, anyways, there's another little line on the Plaza 5 thing. It says, don't miss trivia, tournaments, and parties. That's us.
Don't miss trivia. Oh, that's me.
That's you, Charlotte. Charlotte's trivia show is going to be on Wednesday before our party. Might have more details in a minute. All right, let's get through the other plazas. This one is new.
Yeah.
Just a little bit north of us at 6, kind of on the corner over there, close to the bushy branch gate entrance, is the Flapping Force Field. It says, giant aliens have landed and want you to dance. Step into the force field and see if you can resist the urge. That is amazing, but I have no idea what the
I
hell
want
this
to
is.
dance.
Yeah.
That one's for me.
That's for
That's
you?
for you?
Well, it's just going to be a short walk away from us, so we have
Go
to go
line
check it
dancing.
Thank God.
out. Line dancing, Brooklyn. What about ellipticals? Okay, Plaza 7, moving on. The Funhouse in the Grove. So the Grove is one of my favorite areas. Adah, you know how they have those weird statues back there in the shade? People put up hammocks and stuff. It was the Nashville barn for a while.
Yeah, I never made it back there in 2019, but I made it back there last year.
It's not a super far walk from where we park at the bus. It's next to where Group used to be. So
It ain't
that's
a far walk. Just 38 miles.
Let me strutting that ass. Anyway, it says, someone or something is lurking within the trees. Enter a new kaleidoscopic? How do you say that?
Kaleidoscopic.
Kaleidoscopic world featuring art by Wade and Letta, creatures by Mythic Times, and ambient sounds. So I love how that little area is
Yeah,
purposefully
that's cool.
weird. It's kind of like a little bit more of a chill out area. But speaking of chill out, Plaza 9 is the Zen Zone. I think this is where...
They had those clouds, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the therapy gecko was. It's where Haley Williams had her deal at one point.
The therapy gecko I think was over at, and Haley Williams thing was over
Was it?
somewhere else,
Yeah.
over by Where in the Woods, like
Yeah.
Plaza 2.
Okay. I can't ever keep up with the numbers of plazas.
Yeah.
I remember what is at each plaza, but the numbers are so wacky. I
Yeah.
can never have it like concrete in my head. Also, there's a rest stop. I don't really know about that. Now, Charlotte, this house of matrimony. You had a tweet, not on the Rebus, but your personal Twitter, you had a tweet go viral because the festival picked it up. So can you tell us what you were thinking and what it came out to be?
Okay, so it's listed in the campground activities, but according to Festival, it's still going to be in Centeroo. However, someone did get an email from Bonnaroo saying it would be in Outeroo.
So I don't know, man.
So I don't know. Now, it's been listed in campground activities in the past in previous years.
So I have a suspicion, and this is only a suspicion. I haven't just asked this, but the festival said that Snake and Jake's isn't ever coming back, which sucks. Everybody loved that. But I have a suspicion that it isn't coming back because I think that was a thing from the Superfly guys. And if you don't recall, they had their stake of Bonnaroo bought out by Live Nation, 2 or 3 years ago? And it's been that same time frame that we haven't had Jake and Snakes. And if you don't know, Superfly's from New Orleans. Jake and Snakes is in basically a lawnmower shed in a neighborhood in New Orleans. So I think that's the connection. Next time I get the chance to speak with Bonnaroo, I might just ask and see if we can get to the bottom of that. But maybe that barn will be something different this year instead of being like Dolly's church, the Dolly impersonator marrying everybody. We'll find out. So I think there is still information to learn on that. Is there anything I missed on this map? There's kind of sort of a map.
Yes, someone did ask. I seen the question a couple of times on Reddit. Why is there no Plaza 4 or 8? There are pods, plazas 4 and 8. They just don't have special programming.
Oh, so they're there, but there's nothing too fancy.
Right. If you don't see the number on there, that doesn't mean they don't exist. They just don't have special programming with it.
I got you.
And you don't see like 10 or 11 on there. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just may not have special programming.
Okay. I know for a fact there is some programming that is yet to be announced. I can't officially say this, but I think it will be announced within the month. And it is going to be very cool and near and dear to my heart and very on theme for this year. I think I can safely say that, right? So, yes, there is something. When you see it announced, you will probably think of me. You will catch me there. I can't say any more.
And another thing is this map is not to scale whatsoever. This is just to give you a general idea of what's going to happen in Outeroo in the campground areas.
We won't get a 2-scale map until like a couple of weeks before Roo. Because having worked with them, I'm not trying to speak ill of anybody, but there's a lot of stuff that happens at the 11th hour when it comes to Bonnaroo.
No, that's with any event.
It really is. Yeah. All right, so I think we covered that. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. One reason, because I got to grab the electric cord for this laptop.
Okay.
When we come back, we got some more stuff with Adah and her Patreons and other fun things.
Daniel, I think we should thank our patrons.
Yeah, we should. I've got some cool updates about what's going on with that here in just a minute. But Sharla, why don't you list the names out for us first?
Okay, awesome. I'm just going to say the first names because I don't want to mess anything up. And thank you so much to our new patrons. Just thank you. Everything is so awesome. We would not be able to do this without you guys, and we would not be able to donate so much to the Bonnaroo Works Fund without you guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a minute.
All right, Shawnaroo 14, Ernst, Jordan, Bill, Harris, Brian, Keith, Casey, Chloe Rose, Andrew, Dave, Amanda, Aaron, Nick, Maddie, Sean, McFerg, Andrew, John.
Keep going, you
Ross,
got it.
Kent, Michael, Randy, Joshua, Madison, Scott, Greg, Eric and Ben.
Had a good time at their house the other night.
Beyond the Hypnotic.
That's Jace.
Evan, Jay, Chloe, and Sean.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Oh, and special thanks to Ben and Eric for hooking me and Brooklyn up the other night. We went to their house and had fun for a little while. So you know this. It is at patreon.com/Rebus. 80% is going to go to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. The remaining 20% is going to be blown on our party Wednesday night.
Yep.
That's going to be wild. I promised everybody I would tell them about the party here in just a minute. I'll tell you after we get done with the Patreon stuff. We will have a big chunk this year, significantly more than last year. I just spoke with Kelsey from the Bonnaroo Works Fund just yesterday. And she's doing great. Stuff is going well for them. We're going to have a big donation for them in late May or early June. And Kelsey is going to be on the podcast in 2 weeks. to talk with us about what all of this money is going to and the cool works that they are doing with the Bonnaroo Works Fund. So please listen to that when we have her on the week after next so you can hear where your contributions are going to. Charlotte and I don't keep a cent.
Nope.
Most of it goes to the Works Fund, and the rest of it is going to be blown on something stupid for everybody at the party. So the party. We did publish a graphic this past week that shows everything that we're going to have for our events at Rue on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's some things we can't tell you about, and yes, that thing that is rumored is true. I can't say that. I will tell you in the future why I can't say that, but what you were thinking is going to be happening at our Wednesday party, and I can't wait for you to be there for something that's been in the works for many years now. I'm very excited. I think that's it. So again, patreon.com/Rubus
Yes.
for that. Anything will go to the Works Fund, and some of it will go to the crazy stuff we're going to do at the party. Bring your orange juice, please. Okay, Adah is still here. I don't know how you sit through all of that BS that we just had. How are you doing? Are you feeling better?
Yeah. I'm still tired.
So,
but
yeah,
better.
we were recording this after going out last night. I hooked everybody up with brunch and everything. Do you want to tell real quick what happened? We went to Voodoo, and Ryan and Jordan was with us.
Ryan and Jordan were with us, and I had a beer when we were at
One beer,
and I'm a very lightweight, so it's okay. But we get to Voodoo, and I'm standing there, and I was like, do I drink another beer or do I switch? And the bartender goes, switch.
Yeah.
So I switched. I think I ended up having like 4 or 5 drinks.
You had 2 more at that second place we went to.
I think I had 2 at Voodoo plus a shot of vodka and then 2 more at Miller's.
Did you pay for it? I mean, not in terms of money, but in terms of...
Yeah.
We had to stop on the way home.
Twice.
I don't have to call you out. But
It's okay.
But you're feeling
twice.
you're feeling better. You
Yeah.
got your liquid. We got you some brunch.
I
Feeling
did
it.
break a nail last night.
Oh,
too,
no.
But it's okay.
Oh man. All right, Adah. I did want to take a moment to talk about something a little bit more serious since you're pretty involved in the Nashville area and you're pretty involved at like Play. I see so many Snapchats for you going to Play. So for people that are from out of town, we've talked about this before, but if they missed that, can you tell us a little bit about Play and what all goes on over there? It's one of your favorite places, right?
Yeah, I'm at Play almost like once a week at least.
Weekly, yes.
So it's Play Dance Bar, and one side is like a dance bar area, and then the other side is the drag show area. And then they have this like nice outdoor patio in the back too. And like it's all been redone in the last few years.
It's swanky.
Like
well, they
2
switched
years or something
sides.
like
The other side used to
Yeah.
be the dance club.
Yeah, they put the dance bar on the other side, and then they added to the patio area out back. So
Yeah.
it's really nice. But yeah, so they're open like Wednesday through Sunday every week, and Wednesday, Friday, Saturday they have their main queens or the playmates.
Yeah.
And then Thursdays, I think it's called UBU, but it's almost like an open stage night kind of thing. They have like, but mostly it's mostly the same people that perform every Thursday. And then Sundays, I think they're called like the Glam Squad. And so it's like their second set of playmates, I guess.
I didn't know that. Okay.
One of the bartenders does Drag King during the Sunday shows.
Yeah.
So things like that.
It is one of my favorite places to go in town. It is always a great party, and I love it because it's kind of one of those deals where it's like 3 in 1. Mm-hmm. So you have the bar with the queens doing their thing. You have the dance floor back there, but also there is the chill back porch.
Yeah.
Like if you need to get some fresh air and just go like actually talk with somebody.
There's also Tribe next door, which is owned by the same people, and like the queens, their backstage area connects to Tribe.
Yeah.
But Tribe's 21 and up, whereas Play is 18 up.
Okay. So it's like $20 for a door fee on the weekends,
On
but
the weekends.
$5 on weekdays, right?
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
It's free until like 9 and then $5 after that.
It is one of my favorite places in Nashville. Always an amazing time there. Now, you've been there a couple of times in the past couple of weeks. How's the tone of the place been after this bullshit law went into, passed or whatever?
Honestly, the tone hasn't changed very much. The queens will like make comments about things or make their performance geared against the bill and whatnot.
Good.
There's one queen that has a sign that says, "My art is not a felony," and like she's brought it out with her performance and stuff like that before. But I have noticed it's been busier since the bill was past than it used to be.
You think it's
Which,
a lot of people that want to support?
Yeah, I think
Good,
so.
good.
I mean, it's always been busy, but I feel like it's been even more busy.
I need to get up there. I want to come with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday nights used to be pretty dead, and I usually go on Wednesdays, but the last few weeks, they've been pretty busy on Wednesdays, so.
Okay. What happens on Thursdays again?
Thursdays is that UBU. I think it's like an open stage kind of thing, but I'm not really 100% sure.
Find out about that for me for reasons.
Yeah, I'll get you some information.
Okay. No, because we're recording this for the podcast, but I'll just tell you personally, like Thursdays work for me because I get off every other Friday.
Yeah.
So maybe I can come up and hang with you up
That'd
there
be
before
cool.
too long.
That'd be fun.
For potentially other reasons also.
Yes.
Okay. And also for those reasons, we've talked about this online a little bit, but I think this is going to become a thing. If you have ever thought about doing drag, I think there is going to be a lot of people trying it out for the first time to kind of protest all this stuff in Tennessee at the Pride Parade from House of Yes at Rue this year. So you got 3 months to be thinking about your outfit and get help with your makeup and everything. I want to go protest this thing. And I think that is going to be a fun way of doing that at Rue this year. Yep, we all dress up.
Yeah.
What do you call it when somebody who already identifies that gender also does drag?
So, like, a female doing a drag female would be like a hyper queen.
Hyper queen, that's right. That's a fun way of phrasing that. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of cool.
Thank you for the update, Adah. I didn't want to spend too much time on that because
Yeah.
we already talked about that and everything. But you're in town in Nashville, in Tennessee's capital city, so I just kind of wanted to hear what you have been thinking about all this. But yes, more to come. We want to help with House of Yes and this protest march that we will be doing at the Pride Parade. Are you going to be a hyper queen?
I might. It might be too hot for me to do all of it, but we'll
Beauty
see.
is pain.
Yes. Beauty is pain.
Yes. All right, Adah, we haven't done this a few weeks. I wanted to bring back our weekly picks, and we usually have our guests go first.
Oh, gosh.
So what have you got for us? What are you enjoying lately?
Okay. None of mine is like new stuff, but I've been listening to a lot of Betty Who lately.
You went to their show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's so good. And actually the opener was one of the drag queens from RuPaul's like All Stars season 5
that's
or
cool.
something like that. And like so she has her own music and Shea Coulee is her name. She was cool. But then Betty's show is just like she always has backup dancers with her, which you don't see backup dancers very often, especially at like small shows.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah. And so she has these 2 guys that are backup dancers with her, and it's just really fun. And like she dances too. It's probably my favorite show I've ever seen. Like most entertaining show.
You go to a lot of
I
shows,
do,
so
I
that's
do.
saying something.
So I've been listening to a lot of Betty Who. I've been listening to a lot of the Aces.
I don't know them very well.
They were on the Bonnaroo lineup last year. I think they were like a last minute replacement for someone.
Okay, I
I
missed
can't
that.
remember. But I discovered them. I think it was at Moon River. They replaced someone at Moon River a few years ago too. And then I saw them at Hinterland also last year. I really like the
You go to
Aces
so
right now.
many things.
I do.
So
I do too
Brooklyn
much.
left during our break, but it sounds like you're trying to recruit her into going
Yes.
to that one.
Yep, Hinterland. It's up in Iowa. Shout out to Chloe.
Chloe, go with them.
I went last year, and it's like there's only one stage, and it's like in this big bowl field. There's one tree for shade.
That's
and,
all.
Like it was very hot, but and like the campgrounds are very relaxed. Like there's no searches or anything, and from what I've heard, this was the first year they had the camping option last year.
Okay.
I don't really know. I hadn't really
It's
looked
in.
into
You said it's in Des Moines.
It's a little bit outside of Des Moines. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like, it's like a mini version of Bonnaroo. Like there's vendors, there's one stage, there's campgrounds. Like there's a campground stage.
Yeah. Sometimes
so,
those can be more fun. Like
Yeah.
I love the epic scale of Rue, and it's always a blast. But if you go to an additional festival, one that is a little bit more chill and easier to get around, it doesn't have like over invasive security, can be a fun change of pace.
Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, so the Aces. I really like them lately. And then I just started rewatching the show The 100. I think the first season was in like 2015 or something like that. And I've watched the whole show. Well, like the most recent season or the last season, I've only seen it once. But all of the rest of it I've seen like 2 or 3 times at least. And I just really like it. It's kind of cheesy, but it's like the Earth like is uninhabitable anymore, and like there was like a big explosion or something, and
Well, what
so
are the
then
100?
they're all living in space.
Oh.
Like thousands of people, like all the leftover people have like been living in space for like almost 100 years, and now it's time to find out if the Earth is livable again. So they send 100 people down to the ground.
Oh,
to
this
see what
sounds
happens.
similar to Wall-E, my favorite Pixar
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
but with 100 people instead of a cute robot.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
But it's really good. I recommend it. There's like 5, 6 seasons maybe.
Really?
It gets hard to watch at like season 2.5, 3, but if you keep pushing through that tough spot, I
All
promise
right.
it gets better.
You know, my deal these days, I can't really get into a TV show unless I know that it's going to end well. I hate
Yeah.
getting invested in something only for it to get canceled in the middle
Yeah.
of a story or whatever.
Yeah.
I will never forgive Netflix for canceling Glow before it
Yeah.
ended. Did you ever watch
No,
that?
I didn't. I think it was on my list, but I never watched it.
It's hard to watch now because it doesn't have a concrete ending.
Yeah.
But it was about like these women wrestlers in the 80s. And it was such a, charismatic, lovable group of people. But the story didn't end.
Yeah.
And Netflix took that away from us. And Netflix is like raising their rates and like saying that you have to cancel if you're sharing a password. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't need you anymore.
Right.
Because I don't trust them to finish stories.
Yeah.
But I'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute when we get
Yeah.
to ours. I got something to say.
Yeah.
Charlotte, would you like to go? Or did you have anything else out? I'm sorry.
No, that was
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Charlotte, you're up. What you got?
Okay, I'm totally going to mispronounce this, and I do greatly apologize. So I've been listening to this band that's on the Bonnaroo lineup. They're on like the last line, I believe.
Oh, Pondo recommended this band.
Hermanos Guitarras.
Yeah.
Do apologize if I mispronounce that. They are a Swiss Ecuadorian band, and they were formed in Switzerland, but they're also Ecuadorian, and they are an instrumental band, and it is like a world music kind of vibe. They're instrumental, just very, very chill, but very like not so chill that it's slow music, but it's just very kind of reminds me of Explosions in the Sky a little bit, but not.
But with a world music vibe.
Yeah,
That's cool.
More of a world music vibe. It's really, really, really good. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, Pondo recommended them when we had our first episode after the
Mm-hmm,
lineup dropped.
Yeah, definitely check them out.
I love how Rue always makes a point to have at least one world music act.
Right, I really like them a lot.
We were gonna. Oh gosh, why am I forgetting? My brain is blanking. What was the band out of North Africa that I really got
Mdu
into?
Mokhtar?
Mdu Mokhtar.
Yeah.
We were gonna have them. I was so psyched about them. That was the biggest bummer to me of the rain out of 21. I was really hoping that we were going to have
Get
them on
some
the
of those
lineup
back, yeah.
this year, but maybe next year. I really want to have them back. But yeah, shout out to the Rue booking people for getting at least one world music act every year. I wish we could get more.
There's probably more on there.
We just haven't come across them yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting into like the mid-season of the pre-Bonnaroo, whatever you want to call it, where you are able to discover more of the smaller font bands, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm still talking with people about like some stuff that we're discovering and everything. Maybe we should do a whole episode on that before too long.
Yeah,
like just
cool.
highlighting all of the small font bands that us and friends recommend.
Well, these guys are on the very, very last line, so.
Well, you know what's funny? You know, the year Repeat played for us, they were the very last act on that poster.
Oh, that's
of
cool.
that year back in 2017. Now they're on to bigger and better things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else, Charles?
That was the main thing right there. I've also been into some of my true crime podcasts, bringing those back.
You want to shout
The
out
Criminal
any?
Makeup. Been listening to that like a lot, so definitely check that out if you're into true crime.
Is that the one where the girl is putting on makeup while she's telling a story about a
Yes,
true crime thing?
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm getting old. I don't
I
understand
like her
these
because
things sometimes.
she actually studied criminology.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. It's basically a YouTube version of watching SVU, right?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
All right. Bad comparison there. What else you got?
That's it.
That's it? All right. Well, mine is going to be kind of a cheat. I'm going to mention something that we've mentioned before, but it's been a couple of years now. Ted Lasso is back on.
yeah.
And they have announced this is going to be the last season. So I was like, thank you, Apple. I mean, I don't, I wish there was another season or two, but it's nice knowing that it will have a full ending, right? They've already planned that ahead. we have mentioned this before. It's not about soccer or football. It's more of like, oh, how do you work within a found family? So like the whole team and the office around the team is one of those found family kind of situations where everybody is persevering through like different tough things. And it's so uplifting and positive. The tone crosses over with the tone of Bonnaroo so much. And I know of a lot of Ruvians who got into it because they heard that it had such a positive tone. And I think it has become the unofficial TV show of Bonnaroo, even though it has almost nothing to do. You would think that a giant hippie music festival wouldn't cross over at all with a comedy show about a soccer team in the UK. But the spirit and soul of it crosses over so much because it's so uplifting and positive. If you haven't given it a chance, go back and watch the first 2 seasons. There's only been 1 episode of season 3 so far. But it's kind of business as usual, but you can kind of see they're planting the seeds for the story to finally wrap up. And I am going to be rooting for this team, even though it's fictional, to win the Premier League in this season.
Well, yeah.
Even though it doesn't exist, I'm like watching it as if I'm watching like watching the Braves. I want them to win World Series. Like, no, I want Ted Lasso's team and all these guys to win the Premier League so bad. I don't know if it's going to be like Rocky where they lose at the end or if they actually do win. But either way, it's such a fun ride, and I love those characters and the writing so much. I don't have anything else. That's my pick for the week. Everybody just go watch Ted Lasso. We've been watching The Mandalorian. I loved the episode this past week where it was a little different and it followed like a different guy around Coruscant. I love how they're opening up Star Wars to tell different kinds of stories. It's really fun. So check that out if you haven't. But that's it for me from this week. Adah, thank you for being here this week.
Yes, thank you.
And letting us take you around town and taking an hour to be on the podcast. Where can people find you at the Well or anything else that you want to plug?
Oh gosh, I don't even know my handles. I think it's my Instagram is Miss Adah Elysium.
Yes.
I'm gonna spell it out for you guys.
Oh, okay.
MISS_ADAH_ELYZIUM.
Well, when we publish this, when I put it on the Instagram story, I'll tag you so people know where to find you. Yeah. Now, where can people find the Well?
Music at the Well with the underscores in between. So music_at_the_well.
A lot of underscores with these things.
And I run that account, and then like obviously Well Coffee House has their own Instagram, but we're tied in together. So,
okay. What's some shows coming up over there?
Let me see.
Oh, let's take a look. Now, I will vouch for this venue. They have booked Catlow before. It's a nice little cozy spot. They got good coffee in there. You guys do. You have very good taste in the acts that you've booked over there.
Yeah.
It's stuff that makes really good sense.
Yeah.
Nice to chill out with. Yeah.
A lot of it's just like college bands. Every Wednesday night we have like songwriter nights. So we do writers rounds with some solo sets. And we do have a handful of people that are the same, but we try to get a couple new people in every single week. So if you just want to come hang out for a free songwriter show and get some coffee late at night, every Wednesday at the Well on Granny White.
Granny White.
On Granny White, right across from Lipscomb.
Yeah. It's not too far from the Vanderbilt area. It's about 15 minutes south of there. Yeah.
And then we have like ticketed shows, $10 shows every Friday and Saturday, pretty much. It's usually college bands, some just Nashville people hanging out. So, yeah.
Well, it's a Nashville show. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know who's going to show up or what's going to happen. Kevin Jonas Sr.
Not the Jonas brother, the Jonas daddy.
Yep, Jonas daddy.
That's funny. You told me he just looked like just any random Southern guy just showing up.
Yep. Southern preacher man.
Oh my gosh. Anything else you want to plug, Adah?
On Twitter, Adah Elysium. I think you guys already tagged me on that one.
Yeah.
I don't use Twitter a lot. I'd mostly just retweet other people. So.
Well, that's fine too.
Yep.
Well, thank you for coming on with us. Yeah. We'll be up your way before too long. So if anybody else is going, me and Brooklyn are going to go visit Adah to go see Goth Babe and Yokelore sometime the first week of May. It's on a random Tuesday over at Marathon. That'd be fun. Maybe we can go out to eat, go get some drinks with some friends or something like that. Yeah. Is there a good bar in that area?
There's a bar right next to it.
Really?
Too. Yeah,
okay.
It's like a small bar.
Well, I guess that's what we're doing. Oh, pro tip, if you're ever at Marathon, there's a great place that does like free moonshine tastings. I can't remember the name of it now.
I don't know what it's called.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, that's always one of my go-tos. And I go over there. Yeah. There's really an ice cream place back there too. I can't remember the names of these places. I should be able to plug local businesses. I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's over in that area. I don't go over there very much. But.
Well, we were just talking offline. Like the Woo girls from Broadway have started to migrate over there a little bit.
They're spreading farther and farther out.
They must be stopped. All right. Anything else from you, Charlotte?
No.
All right. I guess that's it for this week. Oh, I'll tell you real quick. We got some good stuff coming up for you guys. Next week, me and Charlotte are going to do another one of our history podcasts,
I'm
right?
excited about that one.
So it's going to be a change of pace. So I've got some homework for everybody. We did some episodes about a year and a half ago. I think it was episode 40 something or whatever. It was a two-parter. It was about the history of Bonnaroo, but it was the history before Bonnaroo too. So we went all the way back to the Woodstock days and led up to how Bonnaroo formed. We're doing another one of those. We're already starting to do our homework, putting some stuff together. This one's going to take a different approach. Instead of specific festivals that led to Bonnaroo, we're going to talk more about culture that led to Bonnaroo. So this one will start all the way back in the 50s with the beatnik days around Greenwich Village in New York. So we're going to start from there and kind of lead down the winding path that goes from hippies to yuppies to Roo and everything. So we got some work to do. I just want to let you know, this isn't going to be a college term paper or anything. It's largely going to be as if you were just chilling out with us and we were just looking up stuff online. But this is one of those deals where we're putting a lot of work into it, so I appreciate you listening next week. And then the week after that, Miss Kelsey from the Bonnaroo Works Fund is going to be on. I'm really looking forward to that. She's going to tell us what everybody's Patreon money is going to with the good works that they do in the Tennessee area. So please tune in for the next 2 weeks. And I think at some point we're going to do the all-lady episode again.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's on you. I'm going to let you plan that one. Mm-hmm. Adah, do you want to be on the all-lady episode?
Okay.
Last year it was you and Brooklyn and Celia and Chloe, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not going to have anything to do with that. You should plan it and host it.
Will.
I won't have nothing to do with that. I will just
I
listen.
think Brooklyn hosted it last year.
Did she? Well, we'll figure it out. We'll do that in the next month or so, right? Okay. More to come soon. But for now, please get out there and radiate positivity. See you next week.
Bye.